I'm Dan and I'm the host of the show. I don't know how to start these videos, but I am the host of the show and my name is Dan. That is not a lie, that's true. But today I'm going to talk about Nevermind, one of the great, in some people's minds, I would even say the most classic albums ever, one of them anyway. And I feel like in this episode I have complete and utter autonomy to talk shit about Mike Pratt, because I know there's no way he's watching this. He and I don't think, as far as I know, he's ever said a word about Nirvana, so I don't know what he thinks about them. But I just know that he hates Nirvana, and he's probably not saying this, or probably not watching this, so I feel like I can say anything I want about him. I can say the worst things about him that I want, and maybe I will as the video goes on, or maybe I'll forget about everything that I just said, and I won't even think about Mike Pratt again. But I'm sure Mike Pratt hates this album and isn't watching this episode. Yes, so this is Nirvana, or as we Canadians say, Nirvana. Nevermind. I don't really like this album. I like it. I don't love it. I've never loved it. I guess some people would say that defines it as overrated. I don't really like those words, but I guess for some, in my opinion, would consider this to be an overrated album in that everybody loves it, but I don't. And I can tell you my very specific, very precise introduction to both this album and Nirvana. It was on, I think almost remember the date. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam, and Smashing Pumpkins all together in one bill on October, I think it was October, they played 2 nights in Toronto at the concert hall. I think it was October 29th and October 30th. I went to the second show, October 30th, and that was in one show at a small venue, but that held about 2,000 people, called the concert hall. And I stayed at my friend's house that night. And the next morning, I think he'd told me that night at the concert about this band called Nirvana, who I'd never heard of before, I don't think, as far as I remember. And he told me there was this band called Nirvana, and they had a song called Smells Like Teen Spirit, and that I should listen to it, and I'd probably like it. And, okay, and then the next morning, we are here. Somebody at his house, turned on Much Music, and the video for Smells Like Teen Spirit was playing, and my friend said, hey, Pete, it was Pete, he said, hey, this is the band or the song I told you about. And I really liked Smells Like Teen Spirit the first time I heard it, which I guess was Halloween, October 31st, 1991. Did I say 90 or 91? It was 91, the concert. So I do remember my specific introduction to Nirvana, and then I really liked it at the time. To me, that was, it wasn't metal, of course, but it was aggressive. It had that, it did appeal to metalheads and maybe some punks. It was kind of loose sounding and kind of rough and aggressive, and it had guitar and pounding drums and everything. And so I bought Nevermind. It's possible I bought it that day, maybe the next day, maybe the next week, but definitely shortly after. And I don't remember if I was disappointed, but I never loved it. There were some songs that I really love. But, and at that time, Nirvana was kind of an unknown band. This was their second album, obviously, and I've got it here, Nevermind, and I'm going to get to it shortly. And obviously, God, what can you say about this record? It's now when I say it's one of the greatest and most classic albums ever, my opinion doesn't mean anything. In the musical world, this album is considered a classic and one of the great rock albums ever. It's not even close to being that in my book, but again, it doesn't matter what any individual person thinks. You have to look at the big picture, and this is considered a classic album, which is why I bought it. And there, you know what? There are going to be a couple of other records, I think, that I'm going to talk about that are a real surprise that I bought them. A couple, at least 2 that I can think of that I've never even heard before, but they're such giant, enormous, massive, unbelievable classics that I felt like I had to have them in my collection. Drop a comment in the comment section down below if you think you can predict what either of those, at least 2 albums are. Now this one, Nevermind, I will say this is one of my favorite drumming albums ever. This was before Dave Grohl was really Dave Grohl, when he was just the drummer for Nirvana. Even at the time, I thought this is an incredible album for drums. Both, I think, the playing and the sound of the drums too. The drums are just thunderous on this album. Dave Grohl hits really, really hard. And it's a great sounding album. Even though I don't love this album, I have to say it's an incredible sounding album. Everything is just perfect about it in terms of the sound. Songs for me, I'll get to those shortly. Well, I don't know, we'll get to that. And you know what? There are a few songs I didn't even know them when I listened to this record again the other day and again earlier this morning, just to to reacquaint yourself with my style, as Paul Stanley says in 100,000 Years. There were three songs that I think three that I didn't even recognize them. I was looking at the track listing. I thought, I don't recognize this one. This one, no. This one, which one is this one? And I always had a hard time with this one because this was around the time when bands were kind of using one-word song titles. Pearl Jam, almost all of 10 was one word. Alive, Once, Porch, Oceans, Deep. What else was on there? Release. And Nirvana had Breed and Lithium and Poly. And they didn't always say the name of the, it was kind of non-traditional music that they didn't repeat the name of the song again and again and again. So I always had a hard time. Faith No More was kind of like that a little bit too. I had a hard time remembering some of the songs for this one. But, and also this one now I'm going to find out when I open this. This never had the lyrics. Now, you might know if you watch all my videos that I like to quote lyrics. I like to kind of, not sing along because I can't sing, but recite the lyrics. I really never learned the lyrics to this album, including Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I'll talk about again very shortly. And maybe that was why I never get into it. To me, if I don't really know the lyrics, I feel like I can't, wrap myself around the album. And then, of course, this album went on, pretty quickly. I'd say within the next year to become massive. And then, especially after Kurt Cobain died, it just became legendary and, everything like that. That's why it's considered such a classic now. I'm not even sure it's my favorite Nirvana album. I'm not a huge Nirvana fan overall. Of the four, if you call them the big four of grunge, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana is a distant fourth for sure. And I never did get Bleach. I've never heard Bleach. I've heard a few songs, never heard the whole album. In Utero, maybe I like In Utero better than this. I haven't listened to In Utero for years, decades maybe, for a long time. And then Incesticide, I never really get into that either. So yeah, not a big Nirvana fan. But there you go. And I think now I will open up and go through it track by track. This is Nirvana, Nevermind. I'm going to open it up. Looks like it's going to be tough to open. It's just a very narrow... All right, I did it. All right. Oh, that was not nearly as difficult as I thought. And what's inside? All right, let's see. And I remember the CD definitely didn't have the lyrics. I don't remember what the CD booklet looked like. I can remove this, right? No hype sticker on this one. All right, let's see what's inside here. Just that. I hate that. And it's just regular black vinyl. There you go. And it's got an insert. Yeah, this is, the CD booklet was this, I think. No lyrics. Just a few credits here. Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic. Produced and engineered by Butch Vig, blah, blah, blah. That's it. Pretty, as I said, I think that's why I never get into it. Because I could never sit down and just read along with the lyrics. And I've always had a hard time. There are some bands that I just have a hard time getting their lyrics. Black Sabbath. I've been listening to Black Sabbath almost all my life. And there are still some Black Sabbath songs I consider like amongst my favorite. And I still don't know all the lyrics to them. I've heard them, God, for, as I said, decades. And heard them hundreds, thousands of times. Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. I have no idea what the lyrics are in Satisfaction. When that song comes on, I'm kind of singing along. I'm kind of going like, I can't get no, da-na-na. And I'm kind of like this with Nevermind. including the very first song, Smells Like Teen Spirit. I don't know the lyrics to that song. I know part of them, load up on guns and bring your friends. And then I don't even know what he says after that. The chorus obviously is, with the lights out, it's contagious. Here we are now, entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. That's really all I know. Now, what do you say about that song? This is one of the most played songs ever, at least of, the last 30 years or whatever, 32 years. This came out in 1991. And it was the first, as mentioned, the first Nirvana song I ever heard. Loved it. And I still do like it. But, with these songs like Rock and Roll All Night, I've talked about this God knows how many times. Rock You Like a Hurricane. Oh, I haven't talked about that album. But Crazy Train and We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions and these classic rock songs. Stairway to Heaven. It's hard. Enter Sandman. It's hard to really remember what you think about them because your opinion has been skewed by radio and overplaying and everything. So I can only go by my first memory of Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I loved it. Now the next song is In Bloom. Dun, 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 dun. Great drums in this. Spring is Here Again. That's all I know. Spring is here again. Is that? There's no lyrics to look at. He's the one who likes all our pretty songs, and he likes to sing along, and he likes to shoot his gun, but he don't know what it means. Don't know what it means, and I said, he's the one. I like that one too. So far, so good. The first half of this album for me is way better, way better. Or I guess in this one, the first side, because when I had it on CD, you didn't say sides, you just said, the half. Come as you are, come as you are, come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be. I know that one. Maybe I know this album better than I think. That's a great one too. Maybe I like this album more than I think as I talk about it. Although Come As You Are, also I got a little bit tired of that one. And there was a great, they did a great version of that. Was it that one that was on Unplugged? It was really good. All apologies to. I will say their Nirvana Unplugged is my second favorite Unplugged in that whole series. The Nirvana Unplugged, I'd put that above Pearl Jam, and I'm a Pearl Jam worshiper. It's better than the Alice in Chains one. Not as good as Kiss. Kiss is number one when it comes to Unplugged. Breed is next. Now, Breed, I think I only realized this today. When I was looking at the track listing when I got this recently, I thought, which one is Breed? I can't remember how that goes. And then when I heard it, I thought, yeah, this is the one. And yeah, it's the weird thing is this is probably my favorite song on this record. I don't think I know one lyric, not anything about this, but musically it's just so heavy and aggressive and fast, and it's kind of punky and loose, but and then the drums come rolling in. It just kind of explodes. Breed is a fantastic song. When I listened to it today and the other day, I thought I got to learn the words to this song. Now that we have the internet and I can look these things up, I need to get into Breed because this is one that I was focused on the music and not the words. But Breed is amazing. Probably my favorite. The next one is good too. The first half of this is awesome. Lithium is excellent. I like it. I'm not gonna crack. I miss you. I'm not gonna crack. Love it. And then the last song on side one is Polly. That's potentially a favorite too. The opposite of Breed and even Lithium. It's a quiet song, but still kind of a down. It's not a ballad for sure, but it is kind of a down sounding song, as Nirvana songs tend to be. Polly wants a cracker. Polly wants a cracker. Maybe she would like some food. She asked me to untie her. No, Polly wants a cracker. Maybe she would like some food. I can't remember. Easily, haven't seen. Let me clip dirty wings. Let me take a ride. Cut yourself. Want some man? Please myself. Polly is excellent, and I apologize for the singing, but I'm not going to have many opportunities with this album. Second side. The first song is Territorial Pissings. This is another great one. Another kind of Nirvana's not a heavy band, but they're very aggressive. And Territorial Pissings, similar to Breed, that it's very, very fast and aggressive, a little bit punky, maybe even a little bit metal. Now, I mentioned earlier there were 3 songs that I wasn't really familiar with. Kind of Breed was a 4th one. And I'll kind of do all these together. The next 3 songs are Drain You, Lounge Act, and Stay Away. Now, when I saw the track list, I thought, I don't remember those songs at all. I remember the song titles, but I can't imagine how they go. And then when I listened to it, I kind of said, oh yeah, I remember, I think Stay Away was good. But those 3, this is where the album for me kind of lost me. Drain You, Lounge Act, and Stay Away. But then it redeems itself with On a Plane. This is also a contender for my favorite. I start this off without any words. I got so high, I scratched till I bled. Love myself better than you. No, I'm wrong. What should I do? The greatest day that I ever had was when I learned to cry on command. Love myself better than you. That's an excellent song, On a Plane. And then the last song is Something in the Way. This is a very slow, mellow, acoustic song, but again, kind of a downer song like Polly. I would say classic Nirvana, even though it's not like, it doesn't have that Nirvana punch to it. Something in the Way, it's also pretty good. So it's funny, now that I talk about it and think about it, maybe I do like this album better than I thought. But it's hard, for it to live up to the expectations that, because I see this as Nevermind, one of the greatest albums ever, and I think, I don't like it that much. But maybe if I judge it just on its own, I do like it maybe better than I remember. I can't imagine I'm going to buy another Nirvana record again, so Mike Pratt won't have to skip another one of my videos. And I regret that I lose his viewership because I know he's loyal. But fuck that guy. He doesn't like Nirvana, and he's not watching this anyway. So Mike Pratt's taste in music sucks. It sucks, and Mike Pratt sucks. And I can say that with the confidence that he will not see this. Yeah. So there we go. This is the classic Nirvana, Nevermind.